Hello friends, welcome to yet another video from Silicon Craftsman, the product and user experience guild at Near. I hope that you've been having an amazing holiday period because over here we've been working non-stop to bring you the absolute best content and, to be honest, just trying to keep up with everything happening in the Near and Aurora ecosystem. Today I am really excited because this is one of my favorite type of videos. Not only are we going to showcase a product and learn some new concepts, but also we're going to make some money, potentially, not financial advice. Today, we're going to be diving deep into the wonderful world of yield optimizers, specifically into Vaporwave Finance, Aurora's #1 yield optimizer platform. A really quick overview before we jump in. First, we're going to be looking into what traditional farming is and the existing farming opportunities in Aurora. Then we're going to be looking into what compounding is and yield optimizer as concepts. And we're going to jump into Vaporwave Finance. We're going to have a platform overview, step by step, how it looks like, a bit of the documentation, specifically around the tokenomics and a potential airdrop. And then finally, if you like what you hear, we're going to have step by step everything that you need to do to be able to participate. Specifically, we're going to be looking at the 3 key steps. The first one is getting funds into Aurora through one of the bridges. The second one is depositing liquidity into your exchange and vault of choice. And the third one is depositing those LP tokens into Vaporwave Finance. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's start from the beginning. So you may be familiar with the concept of yield farming because we've made 2 videos in the recent past about WannaSwap and Trisolaris, 2 of the exchanges that are on Aurora now. So farming refers to the action or the activity of supplying liquidity to a decentralized exchange. So one of the beautiful things about DeFi or decentralized finance is that when we remove all the intermediaries, we take out the banks and we take out the whatever other people who were part of the system before, we suddenly create a lot of opportunities for individuals or anyone really to step in and fulfill those roles. Naturally, on an exchange, be it decentralized or centralized, we need there to be liquidity so that transactions can flow easily. Whether you're buying or selling, there's always going to be the ability to swap seamlessly. So we can see that exchanges create all the key trading pairs and then they create incentives. Every exchange has this, and the commonality is massive returns. So in our past 2 videos, we explored how to get these returns on WannaSwap and Trisolaris. We've got WannaSwap here. The second exchange is Trisolaris. I'll also put the link to the video. The third option for farming on Aurora, which I have not covered yet in a video, but I actually quite like them, is NearPad. And what I really like about NearPad, other than their savage return on investment, is that they actually list coins that you won't find anywhere else. Coins like MNFT, which is a really cool new gaming platform launching soon. What else do we have here? Frax, Moda, Rose, and there is a 4th exchange that just launched called AuroraSwap. I haven't had the chance to look into this exchange at all, but I'm just going to jump in really quickly and see. I've heard that they've got farms. Oh, wow. Yeah, so they also have farms and they've got some pretty insane returns now. Usually the younger the farm, the higher the percentage return because there are less funds in the pool. So the more aggressive the incentives for people to join. Especially if you're the 4th one, your incentives need to be a little bit higher to dissuade people from leaving some of their existing farms. You're probably thinking that you could make a living as a farmer. That's how we all start. But we can do better. Enter yield optimizers, also known as farming optimizers, and the key word here is compounding. So when we talk about yield, we basically talk about returns. And what we're trying to optimize is how much money, all the dollars coming in at the end of the day. There is a lovely video on the Vaporwave Finance documentation from Investopedia, which explains the power of compounding, also known as the 8th wonder of the world. Basically, in the simplest way possible, if you put down $100 and you're earning 10% interest on your $100, that would be $10 per year. But if you reinvest the interest, so those $10, you keep adding them to the main amount, so then you would have 110, you would be earning interest on the interest. And that basically starts to balloon very rapidly. So in the second year, you're going to be earning 10% on 110, which means that you've got 100 and I'll leave the link so you can go watch the video from Investopedia in case you're interested. Now, if we were to apply that concept to our beautiful farms, we have the assets that we have deposited into the pool, and then we have separate assets just sitting on the side. I've got my Wanna tokens over here, just sitting there chilling. I've got my Trisolaris tokens just sitting there chilling. You basically have two pools of funds. So when we're looking at compounding and when we're looking at optimizing, basically we want to create a strategy where those extra coins that we're receiving from the exchange are put to use so that we can basically keep earning returns on the new funds that we're receiving. So in the simplest terms possible, the yield optimizers such as Vaporwave, what they do is that they automate all the steps that you would have to take if you wanted to implement this strategy. From the Vaporwave documentation, the official wording, a yield optimizer uses smart contracts to automatically compound rewards to staking LP in third-party farms. It maximizes returns by using automation to handle the process of what would otherwise be manually claiming rewards, selling them for tokens, then adding liquidity. The documentation is always full of wisdom, and there's actually a pearl that I'll be dropping in a minute. They've also laid out the 4 or 5 steps that you would have to do. Very quickly run you through. I've actually been doing these manually myself. So first you have to go to the exchange and claim the tokens. There's 2 things here, which may not seem like much, but it starts adding up. The first is that you have to go to each one of the exchanges where you're farming. And I'm already farming in 3 exchanges. There's Trisolaris, WannaSwap, and NearPad. Then you have to harvest your tokens. You have to do these individually for each one of the farms. On WannaSwap alone, I am on 5 farms. So that's 5 different transactions that I have to click harvest and then approve the transaction on MetaMask. Then you would have to sell the tokens that you have just received, in this case Wanna, in equal parts for the pool that you want to enter. So hypothetically, if I wanted to compound my returns on the Luna and Near pool, this would be a good one. I'm actually quite bullish on both Luna and Near. I want to get 135% return, but not on the Wanna token. I want to get 135% return on my Luna and my Near. Then I would have to sell my Wanna every day, 2 sell transactions, 1 to buy Luna, 1 to buy Near, and then keep depositing. Keep depositing into this pool to get more Wanna to be able to buy more of these tokens. After we've bought both tokens, we have to add them to the liquidity pool. Remember, there's always 2 steps. First, you add the liquidity, then you join the farm. It may not seem like a lot of time, and to a lot of people, it is actually quite fun. I do enjoy closely monitoring all my positions and clicking through everything and just learning about the products. But when it comes to maximizing profit, we want a machine that will be making money, even if we are sleeping or we go to Bali or whatever the case may be. We want to make sure that the machine is optimizing every minute, every second, just the right frequency, just the right cost of gas. Enter Vaporwave Finance. As we mentioned before, Vaporwave is an amazing platform that basically automates the entire process for you. We are on the Vaporwave dashboard, and you can see it is extremely simple. It is comprised of a list of all the vaults that are eligible for compounding. These vaults have the pair that you would have to deposit and the exchange where it is coming from. The beautiful part, and where we should be getting excited and sizing the opportunity, is the APYs. So this gives us a very clear visual example of how compounding yields astronomically better results. So on top, in bold letters, we've got the return 2,400%. And if we hover over the information button, we've got what would be the normal return if you just participate in the vault directly in the exchange. So it goes from 321 to 2,400%. It goes from 466%, which, let's be honest, it is madness anyway. But 10,500% is way better. There's just a couple more things that I will note. The first one is that Vaporwave is an Aurora only project. That means that they are an Aurora native project, which means that I get really excited because I really like supporting projects that are native to Aurora. These are people that have been working very hard, that have lived in the ecosystem since the beginning, and I am more than happy to support, both by using the product and providing them feedback. The second thing that we notice is that there's only $7 million in total value locked. Just to put things into perspective, Trisolaris has hundreds of millions, and WannaSwap just reached 126 million. So when we consider that Vaporwave is an aggregator of all the liquidity from these exchanges, we realize very quickly that Vaporwave is just getting started and they've got a lot of room to grow just from the existing liquidity on these exchanges. Another thing I'd like to note is that the design is amazing. This is something that I always like to compliment when I see it because it is not that common in the crypto space. But there is one thing, which is the most important thing. At the very top, you'll see that there is a buy button. And if you're curious like me, you ponder, what am I buying? When you click on it, it takes you nowhere. It's a dead link. It takes you back to the exchange. Upon closer examination, we can see that there is a notification saying that the VWAVE token will be released soon. Adding 1+1, I can tell, you can tell, that this is an option to buy the VWAVE token. But the VWAVE token doesn't exist yet. Now, we found something amazing in the documentation, which I'm going to share with you. So on the documentation, there is a special section for the VWAVE token. It has a very similar structure to revenue sharing tokens from other ecosystems. There will be a vault where you receive a percentage of the fees from the platform. One of the only things that would strike to me is that they've got a very limited supply of only 50,000. And if you're wondering just how much money can this platform generate in revenue, the documentation also tells us that all vault profits are taxed 4.5%. You could do some back of the envelope map. If there are currently $7 million deposited, and this is generating profits or returns for holders of X%, the platform keeps 4.5% of that. Not an insignificant amount, and as long as this TVL is growing, there's revenue coming in. The most exciting thing was something that I stumbled across when I was looking at the initial token distribution. This looks like a normal token distribution, except for one thing that drew my curiosity. Launch boost. So I scrolled down and I read something that got me excited. Launch boost, or token launch. Vault total value locked, TVL, will be snapshotted. The top TVL vaults will be rewarded with boosts, each vault receiving commensurate VWAVE based on the TVL of that vault. This is effectively an airdrop. I repeat, this is effectively an airdrop. Rewards will last for 7 days. Now, I'm not going to lie, it is actually not clear to me what exactly it is that they're trying to say. The description is not the best. I am not clear if it is a snapshot and then the distribution is to the people that were part of the vault up until then, or something like that. All I know is that being early always pays off, and not only are we receiving insane returns, look at these APYs, but additionally, we may be eligible for an airdrop, and I know how much you like airdrops. I know this video is going to have 10 million more views than normal because of airdrops. Now, finally, if this all sounds amazing and you want to participate, what do? There's 3 steps. If you are new to the Aurora ecosystem, you need to find a way to get money in. Remember that Aurora is an Ethereum virtual machine, or EVM, built on top of Near, which is a pretty cool concept actually. That basically means that they have deployed Ethereum as a smart contract on top of Near, which means that you get all the same experience and the same applications from the Ethereum ecosystem. You can deploy the same Solidity code, but you inherit the security and the performance and the scalability from Near. So it really is the best of both worlds. At the moment, there are several ways that we can transfer assets into Aurora, and they all involve bridges. So the first bridge and the default option would be the Rainbow Bridge. The Rainbow Bridge is Near's and Aurora's own bridge. It is probably the best bridge out there. It is extremely fast, it is totally decentralized, it is very secure, and it has really good UX. So when you go to rainbowbridge.app, you will have three options. You can send assets between Ethereum and Near Aurora, Aurora Ethereum. It is very intuitive. There are contextual information all along the way. And it will even prompt you to add the Aurora network to MetaMask if you do not have it added already. So the most common things here would be if you already have your assets on Ethereum, simply transfer them directly from your Ethereum wallet over to Aurora. It costs about $8 to $10 to do. If you don't have your assets on your Ethereum wallet already, the fastest and cheapest thing to do would be to purchase Near at a centralized exchange, transfer Near over to your Near wallet, and then from your Near wallet, use the Rainbow Bridge to send the assets into Aurora. And as we've seen, Aurora has plenty of exchanges with plenty of liquidity and trading pairs. So once you have your Near in Aurora, you can swap for anything that you want. The second bridge is AllBridge. AllBridge just launched, and it enables us to send assets from the Terra ecosystem into Aurora. Specifically, we can send Luna or USD. Very similar. The play here would be if you already have assets in the Terra ecosystem to just port them over directly. And if you don't, then the play would be to purchase Luna or USD at a centralized exchange and then send it from Terra to Aurora. It is also very fast and cheap. We've actually made a video about AllBridge and sending assets from Terra and Aurora, so I'll make sure that I link them at the top. And then finally, the most recent option is Multichain. Multichain is enabling transfers from Binance Smart Chain, Matic Polygon, Avalanche, and Phantom. They are still polishing the last bits, and even though it is live, the pools don't have much liquidity, so bear in mind that this is an option and it will get a lot better very soon. We will be making a video about multi-chain in the future, so make sure that you like and subscribe so you can stay up to date. Once you have your assets on Aurora mainnet, happy days. The second thing that you have to do is choose which vault you want to participate in. Some people choose by the highest return, which is a valid strategy. I personally like to choose by the actual assets in the pair. I usually choose the ones that I think have the most potential going forward and the ones that I'm interested in accumulating. The Aurora Near pair looks pretty good to me. After you've chosen your pair, you need to pay attention to which exchange it is listed on. So this one is on WannaSwap. Go to that exchange and deposit the two assets into the liquidity pool. Remember, always, first you deposit assets into liquidity pool and then you deposit assets into the farm. We've made videos about this in the past. Go check them out. The only thing that changes for Vaporwave is that naturally we're not going to be depositing the LP token into WannaSwap's farm. We're going to be depositing into Vaporwave instead. And now, just to close it off, the usual disclaimer that each platform that you interact with has its own risk. Do your own research before investing. That's it. Happy yield farming. Take care, and I'll see you very soon in our next video. Like and subscribe.